Okay, what's up? We're back. It's long and hard. It's another week of the hardness. Ben, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it, man.
I'm happy to be here.
There you go.
How's your podcast? You're pretty new, or that podcast is pretty new, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
correct?
yeah. Well, my son was born April 6th, and I
Congrats.
started it. Thank you. I started that podcast the next week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so
Really?
it's the Clueless Dad. So it talks about becoming a dad and all that, because every dad podcast out there, because I was like, oh, I'll listen to some so I know what's coming.
Sure.
And they're all super sappy,
Oh, really?
boring. Yeah, it's just a bunch of dads being like, it's okay to have emotions.
Really?
And I'm like, no, I want to talk about my kid's weird poops. Like, I need somewhere to do
The
that.
practical stuff.
Yeah. And so I just started up my own, and it's just meant to be like, it's dad stuff, but it's fun. It's a comics perspective on being a
I
dad.
like it.
And
I
so
like it.
yeah, I'm just always a week behind where he is, and that way I can get content together.
That's awesome. Because there's no fucking handbook on that type of thing. Hey?
No,
Yeah.
especially for men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot for women. And then there's a lot of books for men.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And all of them are, here's what your wife needs.
Okay.
And it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, but what about me?
Right,
I'm
right.
fucking tired too. And so there's starting to be more, but it's still pretty new.
Yeah.
Because dads just used to fuck off. And
Also true.
you just
Also
don't-
true.
You can't anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. The last 3 years or so, dads have really come into the scene and stuff.
Yeah.
So.
There's. I don't know when it started. I hope it's further back than 3 years. But it's not like 80s and 90s kids
Oh yeah.
just had no parenting.
Yeah.
It was just
Yeah.
go outside and play.
Yeah.
And before that, dad was a drunk. And so, I don't know. Now it's in this
Now it's
age where
kind of the
dads do
turning,
stuff,
yeah.
and they're, moms work as much as dad, and they just split stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
there needs to be more dad resources.
Got it. So that's awesome. So fighting the good fight.
I don't know if it's a good fight. It's just
Yeah.
the only fight I have.
Yeah. That's good. How's the so is it just kind of your, I mean, obviously as per the title, did you fit the character pretty well or what?
I have no idea what I'm
Yeah.
doing. I really am clueless. Because I don't care to do the thing where, if you Google something, everything tells you your kid's gonna die. And so
Like the old WebMD.
yeah, it's the same thing where I'm like, my kid bumped his head, and then you Google that, and they're like, you're gonna want to look for brain contusions, and I'm like, I'm not a doctor. I don't know what that is. All that, it just sounds scary.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
I just fly by the seat of my pants, and if I have a question, I'll phone a buddy
Yeah.
who has a kid, because I'm not looking stuff up. I'm not reading these fucking books.
Yeah.
I have one app, and it tells me when he's going through growth spurts based on his age, so that I know to expect that his behavior changes. That's the only thing I look at. Other than that, I just figure it out as I go.
Chicken soup for the whatever soul.
The dad soul, new
Yeah.
dad soul.
I'm sure there's one for
I
that.
don't think dads have souls anymore. Torn
Yeah.
out of you.
I like what's his name? Tom Papa's line where he's talking about his experience as a dad in his most recent special, and he's like, when I was a little kid, my dad was like the bad guy in a Wild West movie where you're like, oh shit, he's coming, everyone hide.
The biggest lesson I've taken so far
Yeah.
is that when you're a kid, you look at your parents and you're like, oh, they know shit.
Mhm.
They're adults. And now I'm like, I should not.
No.
Nobody should look up to me.
Kids just get bigger eventually, and
Yeah.
I'm kind of coming to that realization too. I
It's
think.
big
weird,
time.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like nobody knows what the fuck
Nobody
they're doing.
knows.
Yeah.
Nobody. And even now, I'm at the point now where I look at my elders and they're like, this dude was a veteran. And I'm like, yeah, but he doesn't know things. He's good. It's cool that he did that, but
Yeah.
he can't do biology. It's, you know what I mean?
I see what you're saying in the, yeah. Maybe this is if any boomers are out there listening, they'll get mad at us about this, but they'll respect your elders, but some of them it's like, no, fuck that guy, he didn't do anything,
I
right?
think especially right now.
Yeah.
I think we're at a pretty clear point where some of our elders were like, ooh, that guy doesn't deserve respect anymore.
Oh man. Yeah.
Rick's getting real racist.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. That's great.
Rick is the
Rick's an old guy name.
atypical.
Rick from Red Deer kind
Yeah,
of thing.
Rick's an old white dude.
Yeah,
There's no young black man named Rick.
Oh man, that's true. That's true.
It's even worse when they go by Dick.
I don't know why that ever.
Why
became
did it?
a-
Why
I
did
don't
it,
know
like
either.
one
Richard to
one Rick must have did it to like be funny.
Yeah.
And then it kind of just
It stuck.
defined a name.
That's right.
Like what?
I still
Like-
get excited every time the Olympics are on because Dick Pound commentates, and he's the only part I care about.
What about, wasn't there a football player in like the 2000s named like Dick Buttkiss or something like that?
Yeah, there was a butt kiss.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was Isaiah Hyman was playing in the AFL, the new league that collapsed last year.
Yeah.
Right.
And I
right.
bought his jersey just because it said Hyman.
that
was pretty
That's
good.
awesome. I like it. Yeah. I don't know. Sometimes parents are like, "Oh man, this would be hilarious."
Oh.
And then-
There's so many stupid names out there now
Mhm.
where it's like you just want to punch people. Because I'm like, your kid is set up to fail so hard because you thought it was
like
cool.
what? Do you know what? Have you heard any recently?
Oh, I have. And while we were in the hospital and our son was being born, one of the nurses was telling us that the couple in the room next to us had twin girls, and they named them Corona and COVID.
What?
Yeah, for real. And I was like, you're full of shit. And she's like, I swear to God, we've all been making fun of them for the past 2 days.
That's terrible.
And I'm like, that's a bad mom. That's for sure a
really
bad
bad
mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, those kids are going
Like-
to suck.
You see what Elon named his kid? It was like
I don't know what it is.
But isn't it pronounced, if you figure it out phonetically, it's like Kale or Kyle or something like that?
See, that kid, that
Yeah.
poor child.
I know.
Like,
There's like-
I would punch him.
There's like a fucking mathematical symbol in there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
because there's spaces to it, right? So
Yeah.
like each thing, if you figure it out phonetically, it's like K-A-L-E kind of. So it's
What I don't get is we already know Elon Musk is smart.
Yeah.
We don't need him to prove it with a shitty name. Like, if I had never heard of this guy and then
Yeah.
I saw that name, I'd be like, dude's dad's probably pretty smart.
Yeah.
We already know Elon's smart.
Yeah.
He sent people to the moon.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to prove anything.
yeah, yeah. Oh man, he's been funny lately. I don't know how much you follow him.
I think he's losing it.
I think a mix of losing it, probably like stress, but also like not giving a shit sort of thing
Also-
too.
He's
So
also gonna get like a $55 billion payday or something coming up
Really?
there. Yeah.
From
Really?
one of
Why?
the space
Well,
things?
he's hitting the milestones that Tesla's board had set out for him.
Oh.
Oh,
So
wow.
they're like, dude, have you seen their stock? They're at like $1,300 a share. It's
Really?
It's ridiculous.
They crashed like a year ago.
Yeah, but they're just like flying high. And
man.
the latest thing that he did is, I won't get into this, but essentially he made shorts and sold them on the Tesla website to essentially say fuck you to like people that are like
Shorting the stock.
betting against his company.
Oh.
And he was selling them for $69 at 420 cents.
wait, okay, so
Well, it was 69.420. You had
Yeah.
to get the 420 in there.
yeah, but
This is on a-
and they were
this is
like
on a
they
fucking-
were red satin, like velvety shorts.
Like, there's not caring, and then there's another level.
This
Yeah.
company's worth $230 billion, and that's what they do.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Like,
Yeah.
dude who did Apple, what was that guy's name?
Jobs.
Yeah,
Steve
Steve Jobs.
Yeah.
He still had the decency when he was like crazy rich to cover his gross old man neck skin. Like, he still gave a little bit of a shit. Elon Musk has stopped caring completely.
Is that why he wore the turtle?
I assume it was like a turkey's neck.
That's funny. That's funny. I mean, it's a good point. Didn't he wear it when he was young? Either way. I mean, in
Some
theory.
dudes got weird necks.
Yep. I mean, it kind of makes sense if you're being like the face of a brand
That's
to
right.
like frame your face nicer. I don't know. That's still funny.
I
They're
don't
all
know what the
crazy.
mentality- you have to be, I think.
I think so.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I think you do.
To like just operate at that level, I
Yeah.
think
Yeah,
you're
you-
a little
you
cut
gotta
from a
be.
different cloth.
Yeah.
You-
It doesn't sound fun.
You got to be misunderstood as a kid.
Mhm.
A little
Oh
bit.
yeah, somebody
Little bit.
punched you in the dick a lot of times. Well, for sure. Because you're immediately like, You're 7 and you're in a grade 9 class. Somebody's just giving you a little flick in the crotch every time they pass you. Because fuck you, you're smarter than me and I'm 3 times your age. Like,
Yeah.
Making you look bad.
Yeah.
Grade 9 is not 3 times.
Yeah, so I was going to say,
But
we're
something
gonna
like
do the
that.
math on that, but 21 in grade 9.
Just proving my point.
I have to check my math on that. Yeah, that's right.
So yeah, how's comedy? But have you gotten back on stage at all? We
yet.
saw, that's how we found out who you are. We saw you at a show.
Oh, okay.
Probably
Yeah,
in just before Christmas when they did a big show at Station.
Oh, yeah.
There was
was
a
that
bunch.
Fortin's birthday? No, that was in March.
No, it was.
Oh, I don't remember.
I don't think
It was the Christmas party?
Okay.
it wasn't the Christmas one. It was the one because Jim did like a Christmas party one, but the week before that there was one that just had like really good lineup, and I think
Oh,
Sterling
okay.
was the headliner, finisher, closer.
It was that week, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sterling's I guess.
Yeah, now and
He's
then they just
amazing.
throw together a hot lineup.
Oh, yeah.
Where it's
It
just
was
like
a pretty-
everybody comes together and
there
is
was
in town at the same time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No,
it's nice.
it was a really good night. But anyways, have you gotten back on stage? Is that
No.
high on the priority list
I go
or
back on Friday's my first show back.
nice?
Yeah, I probably should hit mics before that because
Mm-hmm.
I got to do 45. Like
Oh, wow,
I'm doing
okay.
full
Yeah,
headline
yeah.
sets.
Yeah.
But I was like, fuck, doing 3 5-minute sets isn't gonna make a difference.
I guess.
So
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go in and do what I do because my son is high risk for COVID.
Sure.
Oh,
And
really?
So I've
Okay.
had because he was born a month premature.
Okay.
Oh,
And
I understand.
Yeah, and so he was on ventilators and stuff.
Oh, jeez.
In the NICU and whatnot. And so because of that, he's high risk. And
Mm-hmm.
then my wife has asthma, so she's high risk.
Sure.
And so I was like, fuck, I'm holding off as long as I can.
Mm-hmm.
And then I still wasn't going to go back until August, but I ran out of money. So doing comedy again.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay, gotcha.
I've got to
Yeah.
say, you're a tough guy to research, too, because there's a guy by the exact same name.
The director?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know,
I saw
I know
that
him.
today too.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're buddies. He messaged. It started out because he would message me and be like, "Hey man, I think this email is for you," and I'd be like, "Oh," because I didn't know what was going on.
Right.
And I was like, "Oh, this all makes sense now." I was like, "I think I have a bunch of emails for you that I've just always ignored."
Yeah.
Because I didn't know what they were. And so that's where it started.
Yeah.
And he kind of looks like me too.
He does,
We look-
actually.
Yeah.
See, I was very confused because when you Google your name, like it gives a mix of like both your IMDb's and
Yep.
then the photos is like half him, half you,
I
and then
know.
it says Ben Proulx is a whatever director, blah blah
They're
blah.
the
But then
same
it's
person.
a picture of you, and you're like, wait a minute.
Because he's good at what he does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the problem. I was like, if he was a shitty director,
Yeah.
nobody would care.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get a lot of overlap with him in emails. Yeah.
That's funny. That's funny.
It was pretty funny. I was like, is this the guy? I'm going to ask him if he's directed music videos.
No, he's done some big ones too.
Yeah, he has.
Yeah.
Yeah, crazy stuff. I went to his website and
Oh yeah.
in search of your website.
But I always laugh because like he'll share his music videos on his Facebook page and stuff and get thousands of likes.
Yeah.
And then he'll share something that I did, and it did nothing. His fans are like, we came here for videos, you
Oh, no.
dick. Like, we don't care who this guy is.
Oh man. At least yeah. There's some good back and forth there, at least, right?
I like it.
Yeah.
That's pretty
That's
good.
awesome. Good on him. So, like, how old are you, by the way? It's very hard to guesstimate.
29
Oh, okay.
for like another month. Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Nice. We're 27. Not in
don't know
case
if-
you were curious or not, but
I felt like that was a bit of a brag.
yeah.
We're like, you're
I'm just
dying
saying
first,
we're
asshole.
we're peers, right? So we're colleagues. Anyways, so how long have you been doing comedy?
11 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
January
Damn.
January 11th, 2009 was
Okay.
my first show ever.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And you've been 18, I guess, right? 18,
19.
Oh,
No,
okay.
18. I was 18.
Wow.
Yeah.
What prompted you to do it? So,
Just always wanted to.
okay.
When
Really?
I started wanting to do it when I was like 14. Dane Cook
Oh, yeah.
had just put out Vicious Circle.
Okay.
And I was in a friend's basement.
Yep.
And everybody was getting high. And then somebody was like, everybody shut the fuck up. I'm putting a CD on. And they put on Dane Cook. And I had never heard him before.
Mm-hmm.
And I was never a huge fan of his, but he was like to that demographic.
Mhm.
I was already listening to George Carlin and stuff like that.
Okay, yeah.
But I would listen to George Carlin with my headphones on, and I thought I was the only person who knew him because I was stupid.
Right.
And then they put on Dane Cook, and everybody in the room shut up at like a basement party. And nobody talked the whole album, and I was like, that's fucking cool. I want to do that. And then I just always wanted to. I didn't think
Wow,
you could actually
okay.
do it. But
Right.
yeah.
Wow.
That's
Damn. Good for you, man.
yeah.
That's awesome. I remember I had like so many Dane Cook like albums, but I had them on my like iPod video
Yep.
or whatever. But then when I would like shuffle music, I would get the odd Dane Cook track in my like 10,000 songs or
Yup.
whatever.
Just him doing noises
Yeah.
in the middle of
yeah,
songs.
loud noises. Yeah.
And look, he was good at what he did.
Mhm.
He's still touring, but he's not Dan
Yeah.
Cook anymore.
Right.
He just wasn't my style.
Mhm.
I'm
Mhm.
more of the ranty, angry, yell at a crowd type of guy. But Dane Cook, for all the flack he gets from comedians
Yeah.
being like, "Oh fuck him," he did what he did. He was good
Yeah,
at it,
yeah.
and he revolutionized the industry.
He kind of paved the way for like what it is now, I
Oh,
think,
yeah.
in many ways.
Yeah, because he was the first one to really take comedy to the internet
Yeah.
and to build his own following.
Mhm,
Before
mhm.
that, if you didn't get HBO, you weren't one
you
of
were
the
host,
top
yeah.
guys,
Yeah.
right? There was like 6 top guys, and you weren't one of them. And
Yeah,
now
exactly.
this is the post Dane Cook world, where he was not one of the top guys, and he went, "Fuck it, I'm just gonna do things myself."
Mhm. Yeah, damn. Man, Dane Cook, those were.
Yeah.
I almost like listen back to the old bits because I remember loving it, and then
I do
that was
remember
probably my
loving it.
first exposure to.
Was it?
I used to watch comedy. I used to watch just for laughs sometimes. 'Cause
Yeah.
I would watch like Red Green on the comedy.
I watched
Comedy
Red Green.
Central.
They're bringing
and
it
then-
back.
Are they?
Yeah.
Oh no
From
way.
what I heard, I don't know if it's true. It's just what I was
Interesting.
told.
Interesting. I gotta.
They
now I'm
shouldn't.
curious. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was not good. But I remember like that show would be on, and then there'd be the random JFL sort of thing on
Yep.
afterwards, and like, I'd sort of get it. But anyways, Dane Cook was kind of my first. And
Yeah. Well, JFL was so weird because you'd see these comics and not realize when I was a kid that it was a laugh track behind what they were doing.
Mm,
And it's super clean. And now I watch these old JFL clips and I'm like, oh, there's nothing funny in some of these.
right.
They just took a section out of a bit. But it's weird. Like,
Really? Okay, I didn't even know that.
I mean, I don't know if that's how they were
Right,
doing it
right,
at the
right.
time. They don't air JFL like they used to, right? It's completely different now.
Mhm.
But at the time, it was just, you look back on these old ones that they still do reruns of, and you watch it and you're like, I don't get where the laughs are coming from. There was no punchline there.
Yeah.
But that was all there was for us to watch.
Hmm.
And so then when I started listening to albums, I was like, oh, this is comedy. You know?
Right. Right.
I think my
Interesting.
first exposure was like Tosh.0.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
Yeah, that was like my first.
You
foray
started
into-
late.
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah. Late bloomer.
Well, I mean, I remember listening to like Dane Cook too, but
Yeah.
like my very first like enjoyment in sitting down in front of a television to watch was.
Did
probably
you seek
that.
out his comedy after? Like his stand-up?
Yes.
You did?
Yeah,
Yeah.
his stand-up's amazing.
Oh, yeah.
I've actually never watched Tosh's stand-up.
Yeah,
I went and saw him live once.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was. I mean, it's a lot of shock value, but it's fun.
Mm,
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, I don't think he'd fly like in 2020. Like he still does Tosh.0, but like
Yeah, if he was starting now, absolutely not.
yeah,
but he
Right.
has his audience now.
Yeah.
That's
very-
also
exactly.
true. Yeah,
Yeah. Once
yeah.
you're kind of.
But yeah, I mean, when I went and saw him live, and this was, I mean, maybe 2010, 2011,
yeah.
it was at the height, and he sold out huge venues,
Hmm.
and then he would just go on stage and be like, "So abortion's good, right?" And he would open his sets that way, and people are like, "Oh, I guess, like, tell jokes."
Right. Right. Little. This came out swinging a little bit. Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I should go back and listen to those and see if they're as funny as I remember them. I'm gonna assume no,
I
but
know the Dane Cook stuff probably won't be, but
yeah,
Because it appealed to, like, he had a young audience.
he did. Yeah,
he really did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the whole Whopper no onion bit. Like
Yeah.
Whopper
that
no
was-
onion. That's like, he wasn't wearing loafers, was he? That's one of the other ones I remember.
Yeah.
The crab in the dreams.
He did an interview not long ago. I think it were Industry Standard with Barry Katz, I think.
Okay.
and he was talking about his career because Barry Katz was his first big agent, and his career path is super interesting. Like that dude worked harder than anybody, and then you listen to his comedy, and you're like, but he was just talking about flicking cashews off of the end of his penis. Like that was a full 7-minute bit, but
Yeah.
he worked his ass off to get that
Right,
bit.
right.
Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah, I guess, right.
it's whatever.
Yeah. Damn. Who's your, like... I'm trying to think who... You mentioned George Carlin. Who are some other good classics? I like... yeah.
Eddie Murphy.
Eddie Murphy.
Eddie Murphy's material does not hold up now. I would love for him to do something new.
What hasn't that been rumored to be in, like, the works?
I think it
for a
has.
bit,
I've
or-
heard of it.
yeah.
I don't know if it's true.
Mm,
Chris Rock is always one of the greats.
true.
I've never been a Seinfeld guy.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm big on like Bill Burr is the best
Right.
in the world right now.
I'd
CK was
probably
the
agree.
fantastic until he masturbated in front of everybody. And then I bought his last album, the one that just
Yeah.
came out. 'Cause
Oh,
I'm
okay,
like, I
yeah.
gotta hear what he's doing.
Yeah.
Was that the same as the special that he... Because he did a special on YouTube or something, didn't he, recently?
There was one that leaked onto YouTube.
Oh, okay.
And
Yeah.
then that one was like him working on his new hour. And then he
Oh, okay.
put his new hour on sale for his website. So
Right,
it's
he did like
honed
a
version.
self... Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and I think I bought it for $5.
Oh, okay.
But I had to hear.
Right.
And
Was it any good?
it's good. I mean, it sucks because you can't be like, oh, I'm his biggest fan.
Yeah.
Because then people are like, you're a dick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, but he's still good. Like, I don't know. It's a weird thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, and this is rough waters, but like I have
Please
a
go-
ton of
go
comedy
ahead, go ahead.
albums,
Yeah.
like records, vinyl that
Oh,
I built
damn.
up throughout the year. And I have like 15 Cosby albums,
Oh, yeah?
and I'm like, I fucking hate the dude,
Yeah.
but Bill Cosby himself is one of the greatest albums of all time. Like,
Yeah.
you can't deny that.
I think
Yeah.
you have to like separate. It's the same thing with like Michael Jackson. You have to separate the artist from
The
Yeah.
art, I guess.
You know?
It's
Yeah.
just easier with Michael Jackson because he's dead.
I guess.
Bill Cosby just got convicted. You can't be blaring that next to a window into the streets. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Hey, guys, check out my record player.
Well,
I
he
mean-
came to Edmonton not that long ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It
Wow.
was like probably, 7-8 years ago.
Mhm.
And he did 3 hours straight with 90-year-olds and 9-year-olds in the audience. Like, he was a great comic, and he had everybody laughing for 3 fucking hours.
What? Really?
It
Straight?
was ridiculous.
That's insane.
That's bonkers.
But he's also a rapist.
Mhm.
That also exists. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I guess it can both be true. I don't know. It's a weird thing. So, it's a weird. It's good that things come to light,
Oh,
no
yeah.
doubt, absolutely. But it's a weird world where it's like, okay, but I did like that at the time. Like I can't, So
Yeah.
Well, the thing with Cosby was he was a clean comic, and you're like, "Ooh, I didn't see any of this coming."
that's a good point.
And then you see Chris D'Elia, and you're like, "Yeah, but did you
Yeah.
listen to his stand-up?
Like this is
we all kind of knew that's
it's
who
not
he was,
totally
right?"
off-brand. Him being kind of a fuckboy type, like
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of exactly who I thought he would be.
yeah.
So
I don't know.
I'm happy that it is what it is.
Yeah. All I'm saying is I bought some Chris D'Elia merch recently, but between the time I ordered it and the time it showed up, this happened. So I'm like, well, guess this is going in the bottom of the drawer.
What else are you gonna do?
Guess this is my painting shirt.
Yeah, exactly. Something like that. What yard work? So now have you done a bit of touring or like?
Oh yeah.
Quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to tour. I mean, I don't anymore.
Right.
But I used to tour for weeks on end.
Oh yeah. Damn.
Yeah.
Good for you.
I'd be gone for 3-4 weeks at a time, come home for a few days, go again. And
Nice.
I was just relentless on the road.
Oh yeah.
But it's not a good life. And so eventually I just decided that I couldn't do that anymore, and it was time to balance things out and get a personal life and grow up a little bit. And so I still tour, but I'll go for 2-3 days,
Yeah.
and I fly now. I don't do the long drives.
Oh, okay.
And so
I was going to ask if you drove it all before or when.
Oh
or-
yeah,
Yeah.
I used to have ones. There was some that just killed me. Where, I drive. I remember remember when it was, but I remember one of the really bad ones was doing Fort Mac, and then the next night doing Medicine Hat.
Oh, no.
And then I had to go out to Thunder Bay, and it's like I just would schedule wherever the gigs were.
Right.
I wasn't building a run necessarily if there was no run to be built.
Oh, okay.
And so it was
Gotcha.
just like you went where you went.
Damn.
And yeah, there was days where I would drive 13 hours, take a quick shower, jump on stage, sleep 5 hours, and then I was gone again. And I can't do that anymore. That's a young man's game.
True. Yeah, it's I don't know. It's a grind for sure.
It was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You liked it though?
At
the
start,
time,
Yeah, at the
yeah.
time. But by the end of that touring schedule, I was like, I can't. It's just my body was giving up on me. I was drinking too much. I was smoking too much. It wasn't good. Yeah. And I had zero good personal life because you can't.
Right. Exactly. You're
Yeah.
not really home base for very often, hey?
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah. And so it was time to settle down a little bit. But yeah, I still tour.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good on you. Yeah. Damn. Yeah, that's cool, man. I don't know. We're obviously pretty big comedy fans, so I'm always just kind of curious to hear, the dirty details and the rolling up your sleeves and
The war stories.
the war stories.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
everybody, like every comic approaches it so different too.
Mhm.
But you guys know Alex Fortin well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he toured, him and I toured together for
Oh, yeah.
I want to say 2.5 years. It
Oh,
was
wow.
whenever he was available, I would book him to open for me because he started a few years after I did.
Right.
And so when I started headlining, he was still opening. And then he got his road legs fast and became the best opener that I could possibly have. And so our shows were just a blast. And then he moved up to headliner, and I took on Adam Blank.
Okay. Yeah.
And he toured with me consistently for about a year, and then he moved up pretty quickly. And now I just do whoever whoever gets booked with me. But yeah, like we used to just go on these treks together, man. Like,
Damn.
oh yeah,
Is
it
he
was
the
good times.
He's the one. Are you the guy that he went to Boston Pizza with, or something?
Up in Dawson Creek.
Yeah, I think that's the one.
I don't know if that
Is there a
was with him that I
specific
did
story
that one.
you're
He was
referencing or
telling
no?
us about a Boston Pizza that it's like a straight up comedy club essentially.
Oh yeah,
Isn't
it's
it?
great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I did that one with Alex, but I've done
Okay.
it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It used to be booked by Scott Belford.
Yeah.
And it was just a ridiculous room. And it was great because you would do Fort St. John. There's the Lido Theater up there, which
Okay.
is a beautiful theater.
Oh, really?
And so I'd always try to do it that I could do Grand Prairie on the Wednesday. I used to do the casino up there, still do now and then. And then I would hit the Lido Theater for the Friday, Saturday, and then hit Dawson Creek on the Sunday coming home. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
that was a good run.
Damn. That'd be a big weekend.
Yeah, yeah, lots of driving.
Yeah.
But that
Yeah.
was a good run, that one.
Oh yeah, nice. I guess that's the way you do it. Is Fort St. John the one that's on the ocean, or is it in? No.
Fort St. John is just over the BC border.
Okay, right.
And so you drive
But
5
kind
hours.
of the ends of the earth, right? Or no?
Oh, yeah, it's a shithole.
Yeah.
If that's what you're asking. Like, it's
I said
it's
nicer,
not a
but-
nice. It's not a nice place. It's all industry. Like there's not many people who are there are from there.
Right.
Right.
Not many people our age.
It's,
Gotcha.
It's a lot of people who move
transient
there for
town.
work and then they leave when they get done
Yeah.
with that work.
Yeah.
But the people there are good people, and the Lido is a great theater, and I
yeah.
have a blast there, and so it's great actually. That was the last gig that I was supposed to do. That was the first gig I had to cancel with COVID and everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It was in mid-March. I was supposed to go up there and do a weekend.
Oh yeah.
And then everything happened and I couldn't
Mm-hmm.
because we knew my baby was coming early.
Oh okay.
And at one point they thought the baby was going to come at 28 weeks, which is super early.
Right.
And then from then on they were like, we're going to push for 30 weeks. We're going to push for 31 weeks, 32. And so they were like, we don't know when it's coming, but it's fucking coming early. And so with COVID, I'm like, I can't fly to BC and then come back because they were already talking about the mandatory quarantine.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Right.
then I wouldn't have been able to go into the hospital. So,
Gotcha.
yeah.
Gotcha.
How
Okay.
were you staying sane throughout the whole ordeal?
I don't know that I did. I don't. I've been busy
Yeah.
because I have the kid.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so that's all been new and exciting and fun. And, you know, it's kind of nice that if all of this COVID stuff had to lock everybody down and I had to be not touring for a little bit, it's kind of nice that it's when my son is born. Because then I can
Very
spend
true.
time at home and do the extra stuff that I wouldn't be able to do. Like I'm actually loving it. And then my outlet's been the podcast,
Right.
because I still need something with comedy. And then I do videos for my social media pages where I'm just doing stupid shit, and that keeps me entertained too. And so like I do it's for the podcast page,
Right.
but I'm like, I can't just post podcast content only because I'm not recording full episodes. And so I don't have enough to fill it that way. And you guys know you have to post so consistently. And so I started doing, like, I tested out my fiance's breast pump. And then
I did see that.
I saw that,
Actually, yeah.
And I drank her boob milk to see what it tasted like. And I just do stuff like that because I'm like, fuck, why not? I got a camera and the boob milk's right there.
Yeah, exactly.
Just see what it is.
Is it sweeter than regular milk?
So sweet. It's so
Actually.
sweet. Yeah, I could not
You
drink.
know, if you were to ask me, what thoughts have never crossed your mind before? I'm gonna say top of the list was how does breast milk taste?
I didn't know what to expect because it smells sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But oh God, is it sweet? I was like, this is not good. I can see why a baby would like it, but I'm like, that's too much for me.
That's hilarious, man.
Yeah.
That's I don't know how to do with with your audience. I guess I'm sure they were probably curious.
Yeah, they
about this.
liked
Yeah.
it. They liked it.
You should have done the like Clueless Dad breast milk challenge. Or
I got to do
something.
more with it.
Yeah.
I got to do more. Because it gets to the point where I'm like, fuck, I just don't want to record a video today for no reason. I just want to leave my sweatpants on and be a lazy sack of dick. But I do have to do more.
I feel like the demographic for that podcast would be pretty wide-reaching. You could probably definitely get some guests on that are.
Oh, yeah.
There's a bunch of Clueless
Equally
dads out
as
there.
Clueless Dads.
Most dads.
Yeah.
Most.
Exactly.
But yeah, I'm targeting like men 30 to 35 is like your honed in target.
Yeah.
But is anybody who just became a dad.
Right.
Which can be a 14-year-old if he's cool enough. You know what I mean? Like, it can be anybody. So
If he's cool enough.
Oh God.
if I get a 14-year-old dad listener, I want him to let me know.
That's a
that would
guess
make me
for sure.
proud.
Yeah.
If he's cool enough. I didn't expect that punchline, and it hit me a second after. Oh man. Awesome. So, but you're also a triple threat, double threat. You're a actor as well, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Not really.
Technically.
Used to.
Used to. Okay.
I still do kinda.
Mm-hmm.
But not like I used to. I used to do the auditions. I used to have a full-time acting agent. And if I wasn't touring doing comedy, it's because I was on set somewhere.
Really? Okay.
And I didn't enjoy it as much as I had dreamed it in my brain.
Oh, okay.
Especially not like I'm not in LA. And so the projects that I would get, it's like I did a couple movies, I did some TV shows, but they're all kind of, because they're filmed in Canada, they're all kind of in the same vein where it's either something old-timey, something in the mountains and mountainy, or I'm doing a car commercial. Like there's not many comedies that I was getting into.
Oh, okay. I see.
I would audition for some comedies, but I didn't get them, and there was only like 3 that you could get. So once you auditioned and failed, it was like, fuck, I hope they think of something else for me. And so I started auditioning for some stuff in the States. There was some cool projects that I got callbacks on and stuff.
Right.
But it was so difficult without being down there that I couldn't make it work without getting.
You couldn't go like
Yeah,
the drop
because-
of a hat kind of thing, or
There was one. I did the audition. They wanted the first audition is a self tape, and so I just film myself doing the audition.
Okay, yeah.
If it's interaction with somebody, then somebody else reads the other person's lines off camera, and I send that in, and then they look through the self auditions, and then go, okay, we want to do a Skype interview with you. And then if you get past that stage, they go, okay, we want you to come and audition. And I go, fuck, you're in Boston. I'm in Edmonton. And if I come and audition next week at the time that you want me to, I have to cancel 2 weeks worth of comedy shows. And it's different in the States where you can have an agent be like, he's up for a TV show. I can give you this guy for that week that he has to cancel, and then he'll do this week instead.
Mm-hmm.
Coming from Canada, you can't do that. If I phone somebody and be like, hey, I got to cancel because I have an audition, they're like, hey, fuck you. You don't get booked for another year.
Yeah.
And so it just
Shit.
doesn't work. And they don't, the agent system doesn't exist the same way in Canada.
Oh, really?
And so
Okay.
it's not like I have an agent who could be like, but I'll give you this guy instead, and then we'll rebook Ben. And, there's people who have tried to start up agencies, but because of the way the Canadian system is, they were the one-off. And then clubs were like, why would I work with you when I used to just book Ben by phoning his cell phone? And so it just got it too difficult.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Yeah.
And so without living in the States, I kind of had to give up on some of the shows that I was going after.
Gotcha. Okay.
And I didn't get down to the States, which is on me. I'm not complaining and saying, oh, it's not my fault. It was totally my fault. I just didn't get down to the States. But in Canada, yeah, I did Fargo and Hell on Wheels, and I did The Revenant, and I did what else did I do? I did Heartland.
Which one's that?
A girl likes her horses.
Oh, okay.
I don't know who the fuck watches that show.
I do remember that.
Oh, you know what I do?
I never
I
saw
think
an
I
episode.
heard the name. I don't know.
It was on for a long time. I think
Yeah.
it might still be on. I have no
Oh,
idea. But it was popular, I guess, enough. But yeah, I did all these shows. They're all of the same vein. I wanted to get into comedy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a better serious actor,
Right.
but I think that's because it takes a different mindset to do comedy acting. I think you have to be
How so?
I think you have to be a little bit sillier, a little bit wackier, or play the straight man hard. And I would be a better straight man, but I wanted the roles that were the funnier roles.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
And so
right.
I was going for the wrong roles. Where I should have gone after the straight man roles.
Gotcha.
But I'm a better serious actor. So the last I did some war movie stuff. I did a big play about a soldier, and I had the lead in that one, that was my first time doing theater because I was not a theater kid. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was actually a very good play. It won a bunch of newcomer to the theater world awards. I don't know what any of the awards are, but it won a bunch of shit.
Okay.
And it was a cool experience. But then after doing it, I'm like, theater's not for me because, again, I had to do daily rehearsals for 2 months, sometimes 10 hours a day, sometimes 12 hours a day, whatever it was, leading up to the production. I can't do that in tour.
Yeah.
I can't do that and have a kid. I can't do that and have a relationship.
Yeah.
And so, again, it was the same thing where I'm like, okay, is this what I want? And it wasn't. And so, I'll still take acting gigs, but I don't pursue acting as a career as much as I used to. Now it's something where I'm like, that would be really cool. I want to be part of that. So I'll do that.
Gotcha. Yeah. Good stuff. So it's been what was the last one you did?
The theater production.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Which has been since it ended was like a year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's been a while.
Okay.
I was up for a commercial since then that I ended up bailing on.
Oh, really?
Because I disagreed with what they were selling. And so I didn't want to do that. But then my agent got pissed because she's like, you can't really choose based on whether you would use their product. And I'm like, right, but they're bad people. And so then I had a falling out with that agent, and it was just a bit of a mess. So the last commercial that I actually did was a car commercial. This one was a fast food one.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not doing a fast food commercial. So, yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So, because I was reading an article about you today, because in the Revenant, it's pretty obvious. Like, when I go home and watch it, I'll be able to tell it's you, right? Like,
yeah, you'll see me.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
I'm not in it as much as I thought I was going to be.
Oh, really?
Is that the nice way of saying that I suck at acting? I was on set for months.
Really?
It was my first big acting gig.
Yeah.
And it was a great experience, but you've seen The Revenant, I assume,
Oh, yeah.
guys?
Yeah.
Yeah. So in The Revenant, his kid gets killed, and then it's a vengeance story.
Yes.
So in the original script of the movie, it wasn't his kid that got killed. It was his wife.
Right.
And so
the wife gets killed before the movie,
yes.
I believe.
And it's a different woman than the original actress was.
Oh, okay. Really?
Yeah, than the actor was when I was there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And so a ton of the stuff that I was part of got cut because of script changes.
Oh, okay. Really?
Yeah, and so it was super disappointing.
Oh shit. Yeah, that sucks.
But I'm still in it.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
It was just like I had some scenes where I was like, I'm really excited to see this scene on camera, like on the big screen, and then I get there and I'm like, that's not the same wife, and I had kind of been tipped off about it, so I knew.
Right.
But yeah, some of my more fun, exciting scenes aren't in there. But you still see me in there. I mean, everything up to, at the start, there's the big battle scene, and then they get separated, and the son gets killed, and all this kind of stuff. I'm in it until they get separated.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But that was a huge production, so
Yeah.
it took months to film that first 30 minutes of the movie.
Where did they film it?
Out near Canmore.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
I was gonna say it had to
I
be.
was pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I remember hearing about that.
It was
I
in
think.
a spot called Morley, which is sort of in between Calgary and Canmore.
Okay.
And yeah, it was kind of in the middle of nowhere, but it was the perfect area because in one small space they had a field where they could set up all of the trailers and the crafty and the equipment and all that kind of stuff. They had almost like a ranch right next to us where they kept all the horses and people tended to the horses. And then they had mountains, and then you shifted to the right and you had full forest, and you shifted to the right and there was forest and river. And so it looks like they're in all of these different areas, but
Right.
it's just like it's all within
Just
walking
turn into-
distance.
yeah.
And so it was kind of the perfect area that they found.
Wow.
And so we
Oh,
didn't
cool.
leave that area.
Damn.
Yeah.
I've heard acting is like being at the DMV with famous people because you're just kind of waiting around all day.
And that's why it was never as fun as I thought it was going to
Oh,
be.
okay. Gotcha.
I love acting.
Yep.
I love the working on things portion of it. I liked when they would call cut, and then I would have a talk with the director on anything that I was working on, and you go, okay, let's try this. I liked this. I didn't like this. Like, that's all really fun to me.
Yeah.
But there's so many times where they call cut, and then I sit there for 2 hours, and then they go, okay, reset. And then, okay,
You
let's
just
do it
gotta
again.
get back into it.
Yeah. And it just ended up being that on some of the stuff, like when I did Heartland, the day I was supposed to start shooting, they were behind schedule. So I sat in a trailer where there was no reception or for cell or anything like that because we were out in the middle of nowhere-ish. And so I sat in a trailer for 18 hours, and they were like, Kate, you're done for the day. You're wrapped. And I was like, that's cool. Like, I got paid for it.
You're right. Yeah.
But I literally sat in my trailer for 18 hours with nothing to do.
Yeah.
Like, you bring a book with you, and you don't want to read for 18 hours. And so then
That's what crazy people do.
Right. That's exactly it. And so it just depends on what you're on. Heartland, it was just kind of this weird thing where I sat there for 18 hours because my trailer was right next to where they were shooting. And so it's not even like I could go outside and talk to people.
Yeah. There's
Revenant,
Ben walking in the background.
Right,
Yeah.
that's what it would have been.
Yeah.
The Revenant, at least between shots, I had made buddies with a bunch of people.
Yeah.
And so we would huddle around. All the fires that you see in the movie are propane fueled.
Oh, okay.
And so you huddle around them, and we would just chain smoke and talk.
Oh, cool.
And it was the best. But that was a unique experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Wow. Obvious transition. Did you meet any of the big stars really on the set to
I
get to
worked
know
with
them and
all
all?
of them.
Oh,
Yeah.
hell yeah.
DiCaprio didn't say much to me.
Okay.
He kind of, I don't know if he's a method actor, but he definitely seemed like he was.
Right.
Just sort of stays in character, doesn't talk to people, but he wasn't a dick.
Right.
He's
right.
just
right.
sort of in his own world.
Absolutely.
The only thing he said to me, not the only thing, the first thing he said to me
Okay.
was there's a scene where they blow my leg off, and then I'm crawling through the mud, and DiCaprio runs over. And so it's the first, I think it might be the only scene that him and I really had to work together on it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I go through the hours of makeup and prosthetics and all this kind of stuff. And I get out there and I'm on one leg. So every bit of conversation that's happening, they're coming to me. We don't have to go to the tented area. And so it's kind of nice because now I am the center.
Yeah.
And so when they first came over, when I got out of hair, makeup, and wardrobe and prosthetics, I had all these white strands hanging off of my leg that were supposed to be like tendons.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the first thing DiCaprio ever said was he looked at it and went, "Huh, looks like calamari." And I was like, all right, that's a weird comparison. And this was the first moment where I was like, oh, this is weird, because he said it and I gave it like, that's pretty funny. That's good.
Yeah.
And everybody around us laughed for 3.5 minutes straight. And I'm like, oh, there it is. There's the star power.
There's the star power. Yeah.
They're all sucking right out of his butthole. And I had never seen that before with any, because I had worked with other, bigger name actors before.
Yeah.
And I had never seen that. And I was like, ooh, there's the other level.
Gotcha. That's the DiCaprio level, right? So.
And so that's the one people always ask me about, but I'm always like, I didn't really work. Like I worked with him, I didn't talk to him that much. Tom Hardy's the nicest dude I've ever met in my life.
Oh yeah.
His accent's super hard to figure out, and so for the first week of 2 weeks of working with him, everything he said I just laughed at because he was laughing, and I'm like, he's saying something funny.
Right. He's like super British, right?
Yeah. Like it took me about 2 weeks to start understanding him. Will Poulter was a super nice dude. Donald Gleason was a really nice dude. So,
oh, cool. Yeah. So with the because I know with any movie, they shoot a lot more than what's actually in it.
Yeah.
Do they tell you hey, we cut all your parts, or do you just kind of show up? For any actor, do you just show up in the theater to watch it and you're like, shit?
I mean, for the big name guys, they know what's going on because they would see early drafts and then they go to the red carpet and everything. For a guy like me, on the Revenant, I had warning that stuff had changed.
Yeah.
Somebody had emailed me and was like, "Hey, just so you know." But for most of the stuff that I'm in, I either don't watch it or I watch it and I go, they didn't like me.
Fair enough.
Did you get invited to the premiere?
No.
No.
I was for their movie, I was the smallest player possible, and the day after I left, none of them remembered my name. But for me, it was my biggest acting role ever, right? And so it's just one of those weird things where it's all perspective, right?
I guess.
If I walked by Tom Hardy today, I doubt he would know that he ever saw me in his life. If I walked by Alejandro Iñárritu, the director, he would never know that he worked with me.
Okay.
That's kind of the way it goes. Yeah.
Fair enough. What was your favorite project then, I guess, to work on?
I think it was actually that one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I got spoiled. I got spoiled really
cool.
A lot with that one. And I think it kind of set me up afterwards to be disappointed. Because then I would go do other projects and I'm like, well, why isn't anybody bringing me food?
Right, yeah.
Like,
what's the production value
on this? What the fuck is this? Like, you're nothing, sir. It was just so funny because I try not to be a bother because I know everybody's doing their part and everything like that. Yeah. On the Revenant, when I had to take my leg off and they blew it off in the movie, the second they would call cut, there was a guy whose only job on those shooting days was to be under me with a chair the second they called cut. So that I didn't have to hop at all because it's muddy and I could fall and hurt myself. Absolutely. And then they lose me as an actor and they're liable, right? Right. And so they have, it's just not because they're treating me super well, which they are.
Right.
It's because it's a safety thing. On days that I don't have a leg on, everybody's bringing me everything. They're bringing me food. They're bringing me water, coffee, everything. And so I got spoiled. For a lot of those days, I had an assistant who was just assigned to me to bring me stuff that I needed. So that, again, because I didn't have a leg on.
Yeah.
It made sense.
Yeah, I mean, it does make sense.
Logistically. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
But it made me look like a diva. And there was one day where we had called cut. They get under me with the chair. And I go, I need a cigarette. And she goes, okay, you can't smoke right here, because it was in an area that they couldn't have cleaned up if a cigarette butt landed there or whatever, and it would have shown.
Right.
And so you
yeah.
have to move off of where you're shooting. And I go, yeah, that's cool. Can you just grab me my smokes? They're over there. And so I hopped over to the area that I could smoke, and I sit down, and she comes back and she goes, you don't have smokes. Do you want me to go get you some? And I was like, we're 45 minutes from the nearest gas station. That's on me for running out of cigarettes. I'm good. I was like, I'll bum if I get to that point. And she goes, are you sure? I can go get you smokes right now. And I was like, no, I'm not that person.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like an asshole that you're asking me. Like you feel like you have to ask me or I'm going to throw a hissy fit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, storm off.
And so she just kind of laughed and walked away and then came back with cigarettes. And I'm like, where the hell did you go? And she goes, oh, I saw what kind of smokes you were smoking last week. And so I just went and bought a carton in case you ran out. And I was like, can I pay you back for that? And she's like, no, the production covered it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck is happening? And then I go to Fargo, which was the first big project that I did after The Revenant. And I was excited to do Fargo. And I get there, and it's bare bones. Because they're in a small space. The stuff that I was shooting was out of the Legion in Calgary. It's not a big building, and it's on a main roadway, so it's not like you have the area around the Legion. And so we'd finish a scene, and I'd be like, I'm going to go for a smoke. And they'd be like, we can get you a crutch. And I'm like, one? And they're like, yeah, we don't know where the other one went. We can give you one crutch. And I'm like, I'll take the crutch, I guess. Like, but it's not like, it's just so different, right?
Yeah. Jeez. Kind of two different worlds, I guess. But
so it just, every one of them so different. The theater one was its own different world that I had never experienced.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I was the difficult one in that situation.
Right.
Because I wasn't used to being in theater. And all these actors that were surrounding me were theater actors.
Right.
They're so good at it. They know all the exercises. They know how to emote differently on a stage than you would on camera. And I knew none of it. I got the role. I was excited for the role. I had gone after it. Like I auditioned and went through the paces, and I was stoked I got it. But I did not know what I was getting myself into. And so they had to hire an extra coach to work with me just on my breathing, because pacing is different for theater than it is for film.
Okay.
They had another coach who worked with me just on whatever it was. They had, I don't remember all of them. But it was just like unique stuff like that. And so I would be getting frustrated because in TV especially, if I have lines, I'm learning the lines for that scene because I can't learn all of this stuff. Ooh, that probably sounded weird.
It's fine.
And so I would learn as I went.
Right.
I would know the basics of everything, and then right before we shot a scene, I would go over it, and I would know all my lines, and it would be fine. And then going into theater, you have to know everything. There's no choppy 2-minute scene, 30-second scene.
Do it again. Yeah.
Right. And in TV, every scene, the longest scene I ever did was maybe 2 minutes. Where in theater, I'm doing a 90-minute production, and as the lead, I was on stage for almost the entire 90 minutes. I left twice for costume changes.
Oh, yeah?
And the scenes that were on when I was backstage changing were about a minute and a half. Like, they weren't long. And so I had to learn this whole script, and I was getting so frustrated with myself because I would have long monologues, and I had no fucking idea what I was doing. And so I would have an idea of, oh, I know I'm going here with it, and I would get there, and then they would call it and be like, no, you need to do it exactly like it's written.
No improvisation.
Right.
Really.
And in TV, they're like, say it in a way that sounds natural to you.
Right.
Except for, like, I mean, some writers and directors won't let you do that, but almost everything that I had been on was make it sound natural. So, you know, if you say expect instead of anticipate, they're like, yeah, it's the same word. Who gives a shit? That's what he's comfortable saying.
Yeah.
Where in theater, they were like, no, these words are chosen very specifically. And I'm like, oh, okay. And so I was struggling to learn the lines. And I remember there was one day where I got really frustrated. We were working on the same scene for hours, and I could not get my monologue. It was like an 8-minute monologue. And I went, guys, I need a break. I gotta go for a cigarette. And I went upstairs from where we were practicing, and I went outside, and I went and I think I had 2 cigarettes. And then I came back in and kind of reset myself. And I was just looking over the script the whole time I was out there. And as I'm coming down the stairs, I hear the director talking to the other actors, going, guys, I know, but you gotta be patient with Ben. You gotta be patient with him. Help him out. This isn't what he's used to. And I'm like, fuck, I'm that guy. I'm the useless tit.
Yeah.
They all hated me.
I was going to ask, did you go to school for this or anything like
No.
that? This is just...
Yeah.
I started acting because they needed a dude with one leg who could kind of act. And I was like, I think I could do that.
Fill in the niche.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I liked it.
Yeah.
And I was like, let's see if I can do stuff with this.
Yeah.
But no, I'm not, I'm not a Juilliard kid or anything like that. I just fell into it, and I loved it, and it was cool and exciting. It was never something that I had really aspired to. I was always like, man, that'd be cool one day. I don't know if I'll do that much of it again. If I do, awesome. But I also, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
And people look down on you when you just start to.
Right.
When you just come at it like I did, where they were like, I put in 20 years of work and I went after the same role as you and you got it because you have one leg. And I'm like, yeah, lose a leg. I don't know. Like,
Even the playing field, I guess.
yeah. Lose a body part, you'll get the role probably.
Yeah, shit. Yeah, damn.
So you've also written a book?
I wrote a book years ago. Yeah. I don't sell it anymore.
Okay. And that's called One Leg to Stand On?
Yeah. What had happened was I had all these stories about having one leg that were just too long-winded or needed too much context or whatever it was to work on stage.
Sure.
Right.
Okay.
Because I was telling a lot of stories about having one leg at the time as a comedian, but it still funny is the main point. And so if I have to go into all of these side pieces for the punchline to make sense, it's not fun anymore for anybody.
Yeah.
And so I had all these stories building up where I was like, I just wasn't good enough as a comic yet to tighten them up, I think. And so I just started writing them down as an outlet.
Sure.
And then I went, I can put these together and sort of make my story out of them. And so that's what I did. And I called it One Leg to Stand On. And it was just, quirky stories about having one leg, funny stories about having one leg, but also interesting stuff mixed in there, stuff that people might not necessarily know. And yeah, I put that out. I sold it after shows. I sold it online. It did well for a while. It did really well in Europe for some reason.
Really?
Yeah, not in North America. But in Germany, it sold like fucking wildfire. I don't know why.
Toured in Germany?
No.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It made no sense. I don't know if it's because I'm a Jew and they were trying to make it up to us, but they bought it like crazy. And then the sales that I was making in North America was just the complete opposite, where people weren't buying it because they were like, oh, that might be a fun read.
Sure.
They were buying it either because they bought it after my show and they wanted to support me. I don't know if they ever read the book. Or I would get random emails being like, hey, man, I live in Michigan. I just lost my leg. Your book helped me through it. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
cool. That's a really cool
good,
experience.
right?
That's
Yeah.
really cool for sure.
But the book didn't sell great in North America. And I kind of got to the point where I went back and looked at it and I'm like, I'm better than this. This is not my best work. And I think if I were to rewrite it now, it would be so much more in depth and detailed and funnier. And I would include a lot of stuff that at the time I was hesitant to include because I wasn't comfortable with it yet. Or whatever.
Okay.
And so I took it off of being on sale.
Okay.
'Cause I went, it's just not me anymore.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But it was a cool experience to do it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any plans of rewriting? And
I've got, I mean, I'm always writing something. I've written a couple TV pilots. I've half written a movie. Because, God, movies are tougher to write than TV pilots for me anyway. I'm sure there's some people that it's easier for. But I have 2 TV pilots that I'm really happy with. And so that's what I was focusing on for a while.
Okay.
And I actually just started writing a book not long ago, but it's nothing to do with comedy or my story or anything like that. It's mostly related to atheism and that kind of stuff.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
Interesting.
That's super cool, man.
Damn. Wow. Good for you.
I get bored. I need
Yeah.
stuff to keep me entertained.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
There just seems to be a
an
bunch
outlet.
of creative outlets for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Because otherwise, I get to a point where I'm like, there's been times where I don't have side projects, and I start to lose it a little bit. Where I'm like, I feel like I should be doing something, or I start getting anxiety, and I know, oh, okay, it's because I'm not doing a certain outlet right now. I just need to get stuff out, and so it's just my brain.
Yeah, no, I kind of hear you there, and just keep yourself sharp, right? So.
Yeah. So I'm excited to get back to stand up.
Yeah, that's is it? Do you have a pretty tight 45 to bring up there, or are you gonna kind of start from scratch, or where? What's it like being a comedian who's been off for 3 months? I guess.
I mean, so my problem was I was supposed to record my next comedy special.
Oh, wow.
In October,
Huh.
of like upcoming October.
Yeah, yeah,
Which I've now pushed off until October 2021.
yeah.
Because of this 3-month gap, where I'm like, fuck, it's just not going to be as tight as it should be. I don't know if venues are going to be open yet. All this stuff.
Yeah.
And so I pushed it off for a year. And so I'm just going to keep honing the hour that I've been working on.
Okay. Yeah.
Because when I do a special, it's an hour long. And so I just need to keep working on that hour. So coming back, there's going to be mostly stuff that I was already working on. And then a few things that I'm bringing in from the past few months.
Yeah.
There's a couple of things about becoming a dad that I want to get in there. Because if I'm doing the special in October 21... by then I'm a dad for over a year, like I'm a year and a half at that point. It would be weird to not include it at all because I tell a lot of stories and talk about my life. And so there's some stuff that I'm including about that. There's some stuff that I just thought of that I want to get in there to make it more fun for me again, because I get not stale. I get bored. But yeah, the first few sets will be
a little bit of cobwebs.
It'll be mostly what I was doing before. Just to get back into it, because that stuff is muscle memory.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. True.
I don't go into autopilot. I still am in it, but I know it. And so the 3 months passed. It'll take a few shows to get back into where I was, but I don't think, I remember my material. So I'll be banking on the stuff that I know.
Excellent. Oh, cool. Cool, man.
Yeah.
So before we go, I guess normally I like to ask kind of what's next, but that's probably answers the question as
It's up in the
special
air,
or
man. Yeah, I mean the special. Hopefully it'll work in October 21.
Are you filming or just recording?
We've gone back and forth on it.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're at a point now where we might just record.
Yeah.
Because things have changed so much.
Mm-hmm.
And I think economically it just makes
Right.
more sense to just do audio right now. And that's okay.
Yeah.
The last one I did both.
Okay.
And I'm happy I did it. I don't know that I would do it again that way unless
really?
it was for, the purposes of a streaming site or being on TV. But to sell it myself as a video, people were buying the audio 10 times more than they were buying the video.
Okay.
Because they want to listen when they're driving and stuff.
Yeah.
And so then if you look at it that way, it wasn't worth buying into the video side.
Yeah. Okay.
And so we'll see. If there's a deal that comes forward where I can get the video on somewhere, then we'll definitely do that.
Okay.
But otherwise, it'll probably just be the audio. And so that's what I'm working towards. And then the podcast, I'm just going to keep doing because that's fun for me. And if it goes somewhere, cool.
Cool.
If not, it's a cool outlet for me. And then people who listen to it seem to enjoy it. And I'm good with that.
Yeah. Similar to our mentality.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't start doing the podcast because I wanted to be a millionaire. You know what I mean? Nor did I start comedy because I wanted to be a millionaire. And who am I not? And so all my projects have been put on hold, though. I had this great tour that I was planning.
Oh, yeah.
That I was so excited for as a lead up to filming the special.
Oh, okay.
Because I was like, I want to do this hour every night for a month. Leading up to the special, so that by the time I do it, it's rock
super
solid.
Yeah.
And I had put together a fun way to put together this tour where I had already booked a ton of breweries in it, and like those fun shows are really fun for me.
Yep.
And then to do it in those settings and then move into a theater, which is what I was going to be recording in, it's almost like it blows it open. And so I was really excited to do it that way.
Okay.
But I had to cancel that tour as
Yeah.
well. All of those shows fell off. And so I'm just kind of, right now, I just need to get back into the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Get the ball rolling again.
Yeah,
Exactly.
there's no what's next. It's whatever the hell I can do.
Which is fair statement.
Yeah.
Super fun.
Yeah.
That's kind of, I mean, aren't we all just sort of flying by the seat of our
Well,
pants
exactly.
regardless? So,
Yeah.
Where can our people find more of you?
You can follow me online at Comedian Ben. On everything, it's at Comedian Ben.
Yep.
My last name is weird for people to spell, so I just drop it out of my handles. So at Comedian Ben. If you want to follow the podcast, it's at Clueless Dad Pod on Instagram and Twitter. I fucking hate Twitter. I don't know if you guys do the tweets.
I read Twitter. I don't
I do too.
contribute.
Yeah.
So-
I like
Yeah.
and retweet. That's about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't. It's just such a cesspool. Oh, God, I just hate it. And so you can follow me on Twitter. I'm more on Instagram.
Yeah.
Follow me on Instagram. And then comedianben.com for my tour dates. But there's no tour dates up there right now because we're
Yeah.
waiting until we have an actual run before we update the website.
Absolutely.
So yeah, just follow me
Sounds
on
good.
Instagram.
Cool, man.
At
Awesome.
Comedian Ben.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We
Yeah.
really appreciate it, man.
Thanks for having me. This
Yeah,
was
man.
fun.
This is awesome.
This
Awesome.
is good.
Thanks so much.
Alrighty.